What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, Bev Try Thinking, Righteous Force, Chocolate Sane, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello. Good weekend, everyone.
Wonderful.
Very good.
I lost track.
Lost track of the weekend. Me too.
I don't know what days are what anymore.
It's Monday.
It is Monday. That's correct. Whole 2 days since the last debate. Very exciting.
It's tough these weekends doing without, It's like I end the early bird show and it's like, oh damn it, it's weekend.
I still have a show though, so I stagger the after shows on the second channel. So this show will go out tomorrow on the, well, not this show, the part of this show. So the bit that we were just talking about. This is going to sound weird timeline wise. So before we started talking now, obviously we were doing a pre-show, setting up, doing mic checks, moaning about people breathing with our mics, all that kind of boring stuff. And when the live show finishes, there'll be an after show. And when that is the case for this particular Uncut and After show, it'll go out tomorrow on the Nathan Oakley channel. Link below if you're watching live. And that'll stagger till Thursday, because on Friday there's Iron Around Media and Jeranism on. There's just no point trying to compete with them. So I stagger that show till Saturday, and then the Friday show to Sunday. So essentially there's still a Flat Earth debate every single day of the week, and it's new material on Saturday and Sunday on account of the fact that what we've just been discussing, nobody's heard, and what we'll discuss when this live show finishes, nobody's heard. So tomorrow, that show has got, more than 50% new material. So there's a new Flat Earth Uncut and After show every single day of the week. You just have to be subscribed to both channels.
That's true, and the shows from last Friday and all were pretty good.
Yeah, heartbreaking. I stuck them out, and I'm sure everyone's heard me moaning about this recently. There's about 100 people less for the live show and the same for the Uncut and After show. So typically this show would get about 300 people watching, maybe more sometimes, and the Uncut and After show would get 180 to 200 people watching. Now that show gets 60 to 80 people watching. Absolutely heartbreaking. If there's something really exciting going on and people actually share the show, it might tip 100. But you're like, where are the other 100 people? Everyone's on lockdown. There's a massive captive audience of bored people, and yet I'm having to fight and chunk out videos and put more out just to retain 30% less views than I had a week ago, or 5 weeks ago now. I've just been saying this for a while. Anyway, enough moaning. Shall I go on with housekeeping?
Yeah.
Any signs?
Yeah, real quick. I mean,
Go on.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I haven't been able to be here as much as I'd like to be, but I've been doing a lot of prepping and trying to get squared away, honestly, because this is real, realistically speaking, right? Got to get a garden going, all sorts of stuff, canning.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been doing exactly the same thing, I've got to be honest. So outside we've planted a load of stuff, and inside we've planted a load of stuff, along with flowers, just for pretty sake. But yeah, planting food. In a very minor way, but at the end of the day,
You're gonna
you've got
get
to start
chickens
somewhere.
too?
Say again?
You're gonna get chickens too?
No, I can't have chickens here, but I can certainly grow food, and I don't know how, so there's never a better time to start and figure it out, right? So that's what I've been doing with my kids, teaching them how to grow food, explaining what happens.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, brother. That's great. It's the best way to get or to be free is to be able to have your own food supply.
I should know this
Everything I
stuff. My
planted died.
folks lived on a farm. After I left home, they moved to a farm. So really, I should know this stuff. But I just went there and holidayed. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Mhm. Right. By the way, it's not just, the best thing is not to have food supplies. It's to know how to make food, really. Because food supplies can be rated. The knowledge you have about how to make it can't be rated. No?
Right, give a man a fish, all that sort of stuff. Right, should we move on?
Exactly.
Housekeeping. Should be the concise and short and snappy. Any signs of physical Earth curve edge, formerly known as Earth curve?
No.
Not from Macon, Georgia.
Any
What's
signs
been the
of...
latest argument?
What's it
from the
going?
ballers?
No, fill us in.
No, I'm just wondering, like, I don't hear a lot about it anymore, the geometrical curve these days. So maybe it's kind of died out. They just double spoke their way that they never claimed it, and now it's kind of dying off because they don't bring it up anymore.
Well, yeah.
Well, they keep saying straight is curved.
Oh God, that.
Well, Kosho yesterday was on 24/7 trying to find out why there should be a limitation on the viewing distance of the horizon. I guess forgetting that he's got geometry that he's got to deal with in his model. Like, it's a little weird. Like, why did you forget that you have a limitation to how far your geometric horizon should be? I mean, didn't you guys used to say that your limitation was where bolts were being obstructed? They used to
never
call it the
claimed
curve.
They never claimed
They
that.
used to call it the curve. They never claimed the curve was obstructing boats.
Yeah, no, they did, but Arwen's attempting poorly the geometric horizon hand wave.
Oh, that's too bad.
Shout out to Good Servant for hitting the super chat. Really appreciate your support. So I'll just do it on Arwen's behalf, although this is Arwen's point. We do not see the geometric horizon. What was that you said, Chocolate? We used to say what?
It used to be the curve of the Earth that would obstruct the bottom of boats and the bottom of buildings and stuff. That used to be the curve.
It still
We
does
do
that.
not.
It still does that. It's just not geometrical anymore. Right?
No, that doesn't work. That's never been a rebuttal, Arwen, but throw it out there, man. Hopefully someone will use it.
Maybe their double speaker level is not ready for that yet.
No, the double speak level is literally to have the droid sat in front of the guards and literally tell them that you can't see and we never saw it and we don't claim it and there's no droids here. No geometric horizon, we've never seen it before. We've never claimed boats go over it. We've never claimed the Isle of Man's obstructed from it. We never qualify in feet and inches how much stuff is obscured by this physical geometric Earth curve edge we claim proves Earth's a sphere. We never claim that. That's what they're trying to do.
Well, didn't Bill Nye have that model of that boat going over a curved, Chocolate?
Yeah, it did look a little physical to me. I don't know. I would think that geometry that was cutting out the bottom of that boat, that was a physical thing, right?
Yeah.
It's physical.
I think there's a saying that everything you ever put on the internet doesn't go away. It's always there. Someone could find it. So imagine pre Black Swan all the times if we could have a catalog of them saying it's the geometric horizon that's making the bottom of boats disappear. And then after Black Swan, no, it's not the geometric horizon.
Oh, but we can and we do. We have exactly that. We have this great, wonderful show produced fantastically called Flat Earth Debate. There's thousands of shows that you can go and see of them doing precisely that. It's amazing.
Can I rebuttal, by the way, respond to the Bill Nye boat model thing set up, right? I saw that one time. It was hilarious. But what I found the most interesting about it is that for whatever they were trying to fabricate right there, if you just looked at the size of the ship and then the curve of that model thing that it was supposedly resting on, doesn't seem like it's really up to scale.
No, it wasn't. But again,
like totally not. Like the boats scale size compared to that geometrical physical curve that little miniature model had, then that boat would be just the size of the Netherlands or something.
It's not the scale that's the issue, though. It's the fact that they're claiming the physical geometric sphere edge obstruction of the boat as it goes over it, regardless of the scale. But yeah, you could argue the scale, but I don't think you get a win for it.
Yeah, but it was supposed to emulate how it really looked, right?
Yeah, with a physical geometric.
If that is
emulate how it would look with a physical geometric sphere edge blocking the boat.
Right.
Right.
But they did claim it was the scale, sort of, because they're trying to show you how it looks like in the real world. So if you do that, then you automatically are going to suggest it's the scale, because otherwise it's never going to look like that.
Here, there's a bigger gaffe than that. You remember Felix Baumgartner as he's stepping outside of his capsule, and they got the wide-angle lens, and all of New Mexico looks like the globe as he jumps off. Now, what about that scale?
Right. That's a fisheye lens.
Exactly.
Right.
Right, but when Neil deGrasse Tyson qualifies that example, and he's saying, oh, you're not going to see the curve of the Earth from 125,000 feet, and then he says, if you're an ant on this beach ball, you're not going to see the curve of the Earth. Well, even though obviously he's got a scaled-down version, he's saying, look, when you reify Earth into a sphere shape, the curve of the Earth curve in this example, is the physical geometric sphere edge horizon that they're saying would curve at altitude, i.e. bend into a sphere. At the same edge, that sphere edge that they like to deny or challenge us to provide one for our model that we don't have, an edge. Well, that edge is what's going to be obscuring this boat in the same example, regardless of scale.
Is that the same Neil deGrasse Tyson?
I showed one of my friends that video, and when they showed Planet New Mexico, my friend said, "Hey, where the fuck is all the water? How is that Earth? What's going on here?" I was like, "Exactly. Look into this, my friend." He was fucked up after that. He was like, "Yeah, that's obviously nonsense." I was like, "Exactly."
I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is the flat earther's best friend. First, he says you can't see it and it's flat, and he does that hand movement. And then he says the field goal was affected by Earth-based Coriolis. Both those things, both those things, flat earthers love, and his own side say, "Shut up, Neil."
No. People missed the magic trick with the you can't see a curve of the Earth from 120,000 feet, Wallace. And then he smacks the beach ball, and you can't see the curve of the Earth from 1/4 of an inch above this beach ball as he slaps it. Well, that's the magic trick. Not saying it's flat. That stuff is flat, is the bit that everyone jumps on. Well, no, you've missed the magic trick. The magic trick is to get you to reify the horizon into the edge of a sphere. He's holding the sphere, slapping a sphere, and getting you to reify the bit that Felix from Garden has been describing as being curved, the horizon, into the edge of that beach ball. So when he says you won't see the curve of the Earth from an inch above this beach ball, that means curve of the Earth is geometric horizon. That's what he's giving you. That's the magic trick.
I get
but
it.
it depends.
So he's saying you can't see it, but it is there, because as a side view, you can see it, that the curve is part of the ball. So I get it. So it's not there, but you still think it's there.
Well, it means that when you have flat earthers starting to argue for seeing the horizon rising to eye level, they inadvertently are reifying the edge into something physical, giving it an edge characteristic. Well, it rises with you, it's not bending, all of these things are describing something that should have physicality. Well, their model implies a physical earth curve edge when he slaps on that beach ball. And that's the bit they want both flat earthers and globe earthers to both understand, that when we're talking about the horizon, we're talking about the edge of something. And I slap my beach ball because the Earth is a sphere. So that's the bit he wants you to take in. Let's all understand, regardless of whether we argue about whether or not the physical reified sphere edge horizon bends or not, so long as we're all on the same page that it's a physical sphere edge. That's the trick.
Yeah, see, Nathan,
even though he's saying that stuff is flat and he's pointing out how there is no curvature, he's still slapping a beach ball, still putting it as a ball in your head.
Right. Well, that's a good trick. That's a good trick.
all right. Did you not hear I was trying to say something?
Go ahead, and then I'll shout out some super chats.
All right. So, like in the pre-show, we discussed how a person could have a different viewpoint from a different angle on the same subject, and then it causes confusion. I said when I was quoting Neil deGrasse Tyson about the 125,000 foot, you can't see it. In my narrow comparison, I was comparing that to all the times before. See, the bottom of the boats are disappearing because of Earth curve. Well, that's right here in front of me from the beach, right? And so now for him to say, you can go this high up and not see it, I'm killing it from that angle. And then you came in with another kill shot from another angle, and Arwen has his, and of course, Chalka could bring in his own. So there's so many ways that a person is thinking about somebody else's statement as they tie it to a statement from the past that it contradicts.
Fair enough. Everyone's a winner and everyone gets a medal. The globe is dead. Let's do some super chat shout outs. So shout out to Good Servant, Joshua Doyle again, and Rakia Life. So Joshua Doyle first says, your aces, Nathan. Oh, thank you very much indeed, Joshua Doyle. Really appreciate the super chat. And again, Joshua Doyle says, another $10 for Nathan just to make Larry cringe. Keep up the good work, Larry. It's getting me super chats. Thank you very much in all seriousness, though, to Joshua Doyle for both the super chats. Also, shout out to Rakia Life. He says, Nathan, 10th Man, Choc, Arwin, and chat are ace. QE, not so much. Let's go fishing. Rakia Life. Thank you very much indeed, Dave, for the super chat. Really appreciate support.
Shout out to Rakia.
All right, Bev, what were you going to say?
Well, you were talking about the geometrical curve or something. I don't know. If you look up the definition of a horizontal, it will say it is parallel to the horizon, upon which all verticals are fixed. Or so geometrically, it's a straight line. You can't have a straight line that's parallel to a curve. So it is actually a geometric straight line.
It's a matter of perspective. It's R-based straight line, and the geometric horizon.
Yeah, but you're talking geometric, then it's
That's
horizontal, right?
But the horizon does not exclude geometrical horizon necessarily. It all depends on how you're going to use the word in the claim.
Horizontal is parallel to the horizon.
Bev's absolutely correct. He's describing it as being what it is. Horizontal, horizon. The words aren't similar for, they're similar for a reason. And that's what he's trying to detail. And geometrically, his statement is absolutely factually correct. So that's not necessarily the point I was trying to bark at. My point is that turning that geometrical description of the horizon and what it is into a physical sphere edge horizon, those are two different things.
One's fictional.
Precisely.
This brings me back to a claim on the debates. Oh, I might have over talking you.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Travis. Was that Travis?
Yeah, pardon me there. It brings me back to a claim on the debates. I think it was in the 800s somewhere. And this guy comes on and he, for some reason, the conversation is regarding the horizon, and he starts claiming that tile is set to the horizon. So I don't know if anybody recalls that, but it was just the most absurd
virus?
shit. I'm a contractor.
It was virus. Yeah, that was
Was
virus.
that
You said
Atom
tile?
virus?
That was virus.
Debut?
I'm a floor guy.
I've actually got a lot of time for that guy. That virus guy's all right. I often chat with him in chat, and while he won't necessarily concede he falls into all the same baller stereotypes, he at least will give a minor nod when you point out that he's going around in a circle with something you smashed. I can't give you an example off the top of my head, but he's just slightly less fundy than the rest of them, in my humble opinion. So I actually quite like a cum virus, if I'm honest.
Slightly less.
Oh,
funny.
gee, how
I would
honest
agree
of
with
him.
that, though. He is a little bit less funny.
A little bit.
The other ones are much more funnier.
Yeah, he genuinely seems to me like he's here because he does, and he's even said that, he's declared it, like he wants to learn, he's here because he's curious about this stuff. Obviously he stands in our opposition, and obviously he's going to take on the traits of the ballers that surround him and their argument tactics and techniques. But that doesn't change that I think he's genuinely here to find stuff out, and he's curious about it, as opposed to just a complete knob. I think he's all right in that regard.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only thing I remember most about the guy is him saying, "You just don't want me to learn."
Is less fundy a contrast to mostly fundy?
You got a new member.
Yeah, Penguin. Thank you very much for joining. Super Chats and a new member. So thank you very much to Joshua Doyle for joining as a penguin.
So what was he saying about a tile being in the center? Can somebody explain that to me?
Oh yeah. The guy actually claimed that when people set tile, they set it to the horizon, like horizontal, like tile, like on a floor is flat. Well, it's so dumb, dude. You have to stand up when you're setting tile to look out the window to see a horizon. If you have that luxury,
Then I've been doing it wrong for 35 years.
You use the spirit level.
I've been doing it wrong all my life. Jeez, I got to fix it.
Well, what do? Do you reference the horizon, or do you carry a little magical tool called spirit level with you?
I measure my floor. I find where it's going to be the least amount of cuts. I center it, drop my line, glue up the entire floor. Well, it's VCT tile, vinyl composition tile. And then I begin to install on the line.
yeah, Nathan, the answer to your question is we just try to maintain the plane. So level isn't necessarily super important. I mean, it is overall, but in general, unless you're doing a shower or something, but in general, yeah, you're just trying to maintain that plane so those tiles all line up. Really just flat.
Not if you're doing a mud floor. If you're doing a mud floor, you're working with the level and skewing everything back to your floor is level.
Yeah. Or a shower floor, you're
Right.
trying to aim it to the drain. Yeah, I'm just talking about in general. When you're setting tile, you're trying to line that stuff up. You're trying to maintain your plane. So we build roofs, houses, all that stuff. Yep.
How would you set tile to the horizon if the horizon is refracted?
Non-Atmo day, you said tile.
This is kind of non sequitur. Can we move on from Earth Curve? This is number.
Do we not want to talk about the main surveyor's plums? Brenda was admiring them the other day.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was great. One. Yeah,
Wait,
man,
what?
I'm up for talking about surveyor's plums.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but again, like McToons had been admiring them. He'd been showing me them the other day, and claiming this is one of his proofs of R in whatever he has McToons.net.something.com R or something. So he has a set of proofs that he calls I don't know, whatever. And the main surveyor has got a video out that claims to have measured that plumb lines are not parallel. He's made a big deal out of it. It's got quite a few videos. Now, Brenda the other day had mentioned that she'd been checking his plums out, and although gone over the video or anything, she was willing to claim that it had definitely been done by this man because he's made a YouTube video. He claims to be a surveyor. So we're going to be, I'm going to go, I've actually been and looked over it, but in order to explain to people exactly what's going on, it would be helpful if other people had at least know of this claim of measuring plumb lines that are not parallel. Fantastic claim. But I mean, I think we've been over his meme. Was there one time where, I mean, you have seen we went over the meme once before.
Is
where he
this
showed
Disco
this.
Ball Surveyor or is that somebody else?
No, this is another one. This is the main surveyor.
Oh, we got another one.
Yeah, Jeff.
What happened to the Disco Ball guy? What happened to him?
He's disappeared for a bit. He's gone. He must be off working.
I don't know who Tree Swinger is, but he's made a little meme and stuck it in Master B, I believe. So it's Brenda from the Science of Shoe and Jeff, the main surveyor. Let's compare plums.
Yeah, we had a bit of a chat.
Fruity.
Brenda. Tony had a talk with Brenda about gravity. That was for a bit. Quite a few people. DP had a go at talking. But mainly it was about, right, because I have this test of the water level, and it's I'm trying to understand what people would think, because I think it has a chance of proving shape, or I think personally it will prove that level is horizontal. Other people seem to think it might prove a curve. Other people think the latest one that we had at the weekend was there would be no difference between the test and what they would expect to see on their model. I think that was the way it was expressed. So that was basically that was what we were doing. But then in order to explain, Brenda was explaining how they can have a horizontal waterline that actually curves. She went to explain that Jeff, the main surveyor, has measured plumb lines that are not parallel. So yeah, I would like to just bring that into the conversation as to get everybody thinking about it, really, as to how you can have level that is a horizontal reference frame and a horizontal line, but also have the ability to comprehend in your mind that horizontal line curves around a ball.
So what are you asking for? Are you asking for this Jeff Main surveyor guy to establish how you have a contradiction between one of the axioms of Euclidean geometry and his assertion that plumb lines on his presupposed model of a sphere Earth are not lining up together? They're actually pointing towards the centre of a sphere.
He claims to have been able to measure this as a surveyor. Now, surveyors work, like, as you know, and these surveyors don't seem to understand this, but they work within the reference frame of reality, which is Euclidean geometry. I mean, that's the only geometry these surveyors can actually use with measuring, with optical and angles and levels and all of that. It's Euclidean geometry. Now, what Jeff doesn't seem to understand is, I think he's gone beyond the bounds of that Euclidean geometry in claiming what he's claimed, but he doesn't seem to realize that.
Right. Yeah, it's violating one of the axioms of the geometry itself, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Just going to do a quick... Joshua's spurred me on to do a couple of shout-outs to the Penguins, so just as we're here, I'm going to do that now. So first of all, as he's joined today, Joshua Doyle, thank you very much indeed for joining. Now, the people I'm going to shout out are just the people who I think have got YouTube channels, because they've got more than 100 subscribers. So Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth is a YouTuber, so look him up. He's got 284 subscribers, so check him out. Same goes for Vlad on Flat Earth. So check out Vlad. 1.2 thousand subscribers, so more than likely pumping out the material, so check him out. Vlad on Flat Earth. Good Servant, another one of my members, Penguin member, has got 362 subscribers, so big shout out to you. And Eagle, Plane and Anchor, who definitely makes videos, who's got 393 subscribers. And just so there's a couple of randoms in there that may or may not make material, big shout out to Penguin channel member Ninja Man, Rob Kiln and Dank. So big shout out to all of you who may or may not make videos. And one more, just for good measure, Agent Dubsky. So big shout out to all of you who are a member as a penguin on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. Good timing with my Patreon artwork that I've made there. What do you reckon? With my woman in a gas mask. Coincidentally, the background that I have on my desktop. Might as well show that. There you go. I don't know if I've asked you guys on the panel, are these, you're all into the new slides? Because the old ones lasted about 2 years. I'm not exactly up on changing them very often, obviously.
Yeah, I like them. I do have a question though. Who's the guy with the the guy sitting on the rocket? What's that about?
Oh, that's Krieger.
With the shirt open.
That's Krieger.
Who's that?
So there's a show called Archer, and if you've ever seen Bob's Burgers, it's the same guy who does the voice of Bob. He's Archer, and he's like an independent, like secret agent company. So they're like
Right. I know Archer. Yeah.
like freelance
So
secret agents.
that character is from Archer.
Yeah, he's the mad professor from Archer. He's the equivalent of your German captured NASA scientist.
Okay. I know of Archer. I never really watched it like that, so I didn't know the character. I was just like, who's this on the rocket?
Well, I used that as the Emperor's new clothes. So obviously he's stripped from the waist up, or at least got a shirt hanging off. So that implies to the certain degree I wanted nudity. And also because he's a mad scientist, almost a rocket scientist type person, he's the perfect character to be my version of an emperor. So I just stuck a crown on him. Then he becomes an emperor. And what's he doing? Well, he's riding a rocket in a sky vacuum, like Slim Pickens. Awesome.
Right.
Is that space-time fabric thread that you were referring to the other day?
No, we're talking about a picture of Krieger riding a rocket with the moon as a backdrop. He's like a cartoon character that I used in the thumbnail for the Emperor's New Clothes video.
No, I know. That was a cue for you to talk. I love the way you did the fabric of space-time with the Emperor's clothes. I love.
Oh yeah, that's something I must do, because that was miles better. Because I think the way it ended up getting discussed was with the childlike wonderment and pre-indoctrination, when you've got maybe 5 or 6 year olds looking at a launch going, it's coming back down, and that child is the equivalent to the child in the story of the Emperor's New Clothes that says he's not got any clothes on, and everyone goes, no, you're just too stupid to see the magical cloth. No, I can definitely see he's got no clothes on. I can definitely see the rockets pointing down now. No, that's just the spin of the earth underneath, you stupid child. So that was how it got used as an analogy. But I think you're right, 10th Man. The better analogy is the fabric of space-time. That's miles better. It's completely conceptual. It perfectly, is used in analogy with the Emperor's New Clothes. The fake material. The fake fabric.
Right. Like the conversation the other day with I think it was Globus, who we were talking to a Glober, and he was trying to establish how space-time is a real thing. And when Globus asked him, well, what color is space-time? What color is the fabric of space-time? And the guy said, well, that's ridiculous. And he said, well, why is that ridiculous? Well, because you're trying to attribute a color to something that has no physical attributes. They were like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, how dare you try and attribute a colour to something that's completely conceptual? That's farcical. Or in Brenda's case, how dare you ask me how much time there is in a square metre? That's ludicrous. It's conceptual. Yeah, that's our point.
Exactly. He didn't even get it. And the response to how absurdity that you would ask me, what color is the fabric of space-time? Yet you just tried to tell us how space-time is a real thing. Now it's just stupid because we're trying to ask you what color is it. Now it's stupid.
Right, it's actually by coincidence on screen right now. So I've got, well, admittedly with a rumpus head as a weeble, but nevertheless, this is what they would show you in visual practical demonstration with a stretched out trampoline, where they'd throw a bowling ball in, and then you'd watch what is essentially I think it's the moon in this, but whatever. It would roll towards it within about a couple of seconds. But that's what they literally describe it as, a reified physical fabric when they show it you. But this is how they'll detail it in a nice graphic. That's your fabric of space-time. And there's Krieger.
Oh, man.
Hey, if I could segue for just a moment here, it's about 1/2 the hour, and we've got 4 ballers in here at least. If any of them want to say hello, welcome.
Eyeballers.
Or at
Eyeballers.
least come on and talk to us about space-time being real.
Well, we could just do the rest of the housekeeping questions as we've only got one done. Any
Yeah.
evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No.
No. No. The stars are moving. Heavenly bodies are moving. But yeah, moving. They are changing their angle in relation to the observers. That's about it. So yeah, light is moving or something.
None of the ball is going to tell us how we're moving,
What do you think the colour of
rotating.
air is, or oxygen is? Or magnetic field, what colour's that? Or
Oh, look
electric
who's
field,
back.
what colour's that?
What color is space-time?
Yeah, so what colour's oxygen? What colour's an electric field?
That's not
What colour's a
space-time.
magnetic field?
That's a false equivalence.
What color is space-time, though?
What colour space-time was the question?
Yeah, that's my point. It's a stupid question. Just like, otherwise I'm going to ask you what colour glass is, or oxygen, or water vapour.
Well, why is it a stupid question, though,
electric
Rumpus?
fields.
To ask what color space-time is. Why is that stupid?
Tell me what the colour of electric field is.
Actually, there's a football field here sponsored by electric company. So
Yes, they're being extra stupid. What's the colour of an
But
electric
we're
field?
talking about space-time, Rumpus. Why is it a stupid question to ask what color
Just one of
space-time is?
you's got to concede. Look, just have
Other
some
things
humility.
exist that don't
Concede.
have
He's
colour.
right. He's got a
We
fair
could prove an
point.
electric
Other
I'm back-
things
hold on, I'm
exist
backing
that
you.
don't have colour, but
I'm
are
backing
real.
you up. Yeah, I'm backing you up, Rumpus. I'm saying one of them's got to have some humility and concede you're right.
Good.
well, I could hold a glass of water, and I could feel air, but space-time.
Can you feel an electric field?
He's asking about
Us-
colour,
we're
10th
talking
man.
space-time.
One of you's got to do it or I've got to do it on your behalf. I don't mind.
What
He's right.
colour
Charge.
is an electric
Yeah.
field?
It doesn't have a colour. Let's just answer him. No, it doesn't have a colour.
Exactly.
I'll say-
Hold on,
say-
no, guys, you had your chance.
he is-
Stop.
Jesus
Stop. Now I'm going to
Christ.
talk to Rumpus. Stop rumpusing the G Plus panel, please. Rumpus, you are correct. An electric field wouldn't have any colour, and likewise, it would be a false analogy to draw space-time with a colour. It's a reasonable analogy. I concede you are correct. It's false. It's not a reasonable comparison. Now, can you answer me something? How much time is in a cubic metre?
Understand what dimensions mean.
How much time is there in a cubic metre? Go.
Okay, I'll explain what dimensions are.
No, I just need to know how much time, specifically time, that conceptual stuff called time, how much of it there is in a cubic metre. That's my question. I don't want you to qualify dimensions. I don't need that. I just need the time bit, the conceptual bit. That's the bit I need.
I will
Okay,
answer
go.
the question, but
Go
I
then,
need to
go.
spend 10 seconds explaining what the situation is. So, for instance, if I asked you how far you were up from the ground as one of the dimensions, or to the left of a position, how much you are up or doesn't affect how left you are. Those are different dimensions, so they don't affect one another. You can have a completely separate x coordinate to y coordinate. They don't affect one another. Similarly with time and space, it's another dimension. So time is not in the spatial dimensions.
Oh, really? That's wrong. It's in you. Sorry, not in the spatial dimension. According to Einstein, it's length, breadth, depth, and time as pseudo-Riemannian force space. They're all used together.
In 4 dimensions, and just
Yeah, so we don't have 4 dimensions. We don't have this 4th dimension. My question still stands. How much time in a cubic metre? That was 20 seconds. You haven't got to the answer. You said you'd answer. You lied.
none, because it's a very stupid question.
No, it's not. In Einsteinian pseudo-Riemannian force space, he specifically describes it in those categories as those 4 connected dimensions of length, breadth, depth, and time. Now, this is a geometry. They are absolutely connected in Einsteinian bullshit. But in reality, time's just a concept. And space-time, you're not going to tell me how much time there is in a cubic metre because it's farcical. This 4th dimension doesn't exist. Time is merely a concept, and it is that which doesn't exist, and you can't attribute how much there is in a cubic metre because it's nonsensical and only conceptual. We don't have space-time. You can't bend it. It's not real. It's not a fabric.
Is length connected to width?
No, we're talking about time. Now I realise that you're going to flip between Euclidean and pseudo-Ramonian for space like they're interchangeable, and they're not.
Length and width are different dimensions.
No, there he goes again. Time, not length and breadth. Specifically the bit that's pseudo, because length, breadth and depth we can definitely qualify in reality. The time bit, however, is merely conceptual.
But the depth, you can have a...
Oh, back to the depth. Time. Fourth time I've said it to him.
There's no length and width, is there?
No, we're talking about space-time. The fake bullshit medium made up by Einstein that's not a fabric and doesn't exist, can't attribute a colour, and you can't tell me how much there is in a cubic metre. So we're not talking about length and breadth for the fifth time.
There's no length and breadth, is there?
No, time, you're going to get removed. I'm not going to get circle jerked for 6 occasions by Rumpus. You can piss off. Any other ballers want to contribute to the housekeeping questions, you're more than welcome. That was in response to any evidence that you can have axial rotation of the Earth-based variety, and we're into talking about length, breadth, depth, and pseudo-Ramonian force space-time. No, mate, no. Time is definitely not length and breadth, as you kept equivocating with. So 6 times is too many. Moving on.
How much axial rotation is there in a cubic meter?
Any evidence of axial rotation? Because that didn't even get answered by Rumpus.
No.
No.
Oh.
Not the Earth base.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Over there.
No, but I was going to ask Rumpus this. How
Hold
does
on. Oh, wait.
math...
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Was it, how does math speed up
He's
or
stuck
slow
himself on
down
server mute.
events?
Forget it. Sorry. Go ahead. It's just so that you're aware of what the situation is. Oh, no, it's off server mute now.
Okay. How does math speed up or slow down events?
So I just didn't quite hear that properly because I was having to flip between this and the... If you like, repeat your question, please. Could you repeat your question, please?
How does math speed up or slow down events?
Well, because mass changes the shape of space-time, and therefore for doing the same thing changes. And we've established this experimentally.
So
how, we know that things...
How does the mathematical... Wait a minute. How does a mathematical construct, which is length, breadth, and width, and time, which is a concept, how does that... I mean, you still haven't explained how that speeds up and slows down events. Length, breadth, and width is mathematical concepts. Time is a concept. How does that speed up and slow down events?
Time is a dimension just like length, breadth, and width. It's no different. Well, different way. You can only travel forwards in time, but it's still another dimension. It's a 4th dimension. Right, but so the mass changes the fabric of space-time, which means that therefore moving along this dimension has changed how much you can move along traveling the straight line. So if I'm moving along at a certain speed and then I change the shape of the thing that I'm going over, I'm having to travel further than I was before. So in the 3 dimensions that we live in, although you might be traveling at the same speed in the 4th dimensions, it's like if you're in flatland when you only had 2 dimensions. Let's imagine you could only perceive 2 dimensions. You were living in a flatland and you lived on the floor and then you couldn't cope with understanding the 3rd dimension.
Can I stop you for a second? It should be a real simple question. And so far,
well, I did give you an
everything
answer.
you're saying is gibberish.
I told you that. Okay, well, it's a difficult concept. I mean, you've asked a good question, and it's a tricky question. But there is an answer, and that's the fact that space-time, the shape of it, is altered by mass. Mass and energy change the shape of it, which means that going from A to B seems to take longer than it did before.
Sorry, that's not an explanation. That's just a declaration of his fundamentalist religious assertion. He hasn't explained a damn thing. He's just reasserted it as a fundamentalist religious belief.
And I've also said that length, width, and breadth is mathematical concepts, and so is time. And I asked, how does a concept, which is a mathematical construct, cause things to speed up and slow down? It should be a real simple explanation. Either it doesn't or it does. And if it does, how does that occur? You don't have to get long-winded. It should be a simple explanation.
Right. Well, he's not explaining how.
Hold on,
He's
Arwin.
just describing.
Arwin, let him respond, please.
It's like if you were traveling across the floor from across your floor in your living room, and then I dug a hole in the middle of your floor and you had to dip into the middle of the floor to get out the other side. You've taken longer, even though you're going at the same speed, to get from one side of your carpet to the other. There's this extra dimension there that you therefore have to travel through. Therefore, you take longer. Therefore, time seems to take longer if you have to go through this dip.
Oh, well, that dip
It's
is
quite
real
complicated.
because I can dig a hole and go into that dip. But space,
Yeah, but it takes you longer.
or length,
Yeah, but if you
width,
wanted
and
to travel
breadth
from one side,
are
Rumpus,
mathematical
he didn't interrupt
constructs.
you. Hold on, Paul. He's got
Okay,
about
okay.
3 or 4 words out.
Okay.
I said if I dig a hole and it takes me longer to go down the hole and back up the hole, that is a real thing. Okay, I'm asking how a mathematical construct or mathematical concept like length, width, and depth
It's
and time
real.
cause things to be in. A hole is a real thing.
It's
a dip in my
real. It's a
floor is
real
real
thing.
He's
thing.
talking through you
A
again,
carpet
Paul.
on the
Paul,
floor
before
is
you
a
get to
real
the end of
thing.
your conclusion, he's decided to use the religious fundamentalist mute button on you and talk through you with chanting, it's real, it's real. Okay, show it me. The fabric of space-time, I'd like to touch it, hold it, and feel it. In some way, qualify it. Show it me, please. If it's physical and a fabric, I'd like to see it. Go.
Can you touch an electric field?
Don't ask me what I can do. Show me space-time, the fabric thereof, now.
I'm showing you there are lots.
No, you're asking me what something else does. That's not showing me anything, you dipshit.
I'm demonstrating.
No, you're not. You're asking me about something different. Show me space-time. That's not asking me something about something else, so you can draw a false
Nathan,
equivalence.
There are lots of things you.
You don't shout down your mic at me. You're distorting. Triggered funding.
There are lots of things you believe to be true that you can't touch.
I couldn't care less what you think I believe about. I'm asking you to show me space-time. 5th time.
Show me an electric field.
No, don't ask me to show you something, you fundy religious zealot. You've just told me, shouting through Paul's example, because you're a religious tard, and you needed to mute his example. It's real, it's real, it's real. That's what you did through him. Show it me if it's real. Space time.
Show me the electric.
No, don't ask me to show something. I've just not shouted through someone else that it's real.
Prove
You have.
to me an electric field.
I'll have to remove
Show
you.
me the electric-
I'll have to remove you. You're a coward. You fundy muted him with the words, it's real, over and over again, you complete coward. Now you're going to back that it's real by showing it.
Show me an electric.
Don't ask me to show you something, you fundy zealot.
Yeah, but you believe.
You said it's real, didn't you?
Do you believe in?
No, don't ask me what I believe, you fundy zealot lying piece of crap. You said it was real. You talked through him using your fundy mute button.
It's the same.
Oh, now he's
It's
going to
the
eat his
same.
mic. Got to shut you up, haven't I, Rumpus? Because you're eating your mic.
Same
You're
as
losing
electric
control.
Field, Nathan. It's the same as electric field. And
It's not an electric field. Space-time is not an electric field. That's a false equivalence fallacy.
it's the same.
No, it's not the same. Electric field is a field around something electric. Space-time is a fabric of convention. It's a concept. It's not real. You can't show it me.
I can't show you electric field either.
You can't show me the effects of an electric field. You can't show me electricity and then put a camera on it that can show it and make it visible. Yeah, you can do all of those things with electricity. This is a false equivalence. You can't show me the fabric of space-time. I'm not asking you to show me electricity fields. I'm asking you to show me something you've blarted through Paul is real over and over again. And now you're drawing false equivalence. It's not real or you'd show it me.
I can't show you electric fields either.
I'm not asking whether you can show me an electric field. You've just told me it's real, it's real, it's real through Paul. So you fundy mute him with a religious assertion about something being real and you can't show it.
Same. The visibility of
Bye-bye.
the field
You're
are
not
the same.
listening to me anymore. You've just decided to just talk rhetoric through every word. You're not listening. You're not having a conversation. This isn't a debate anymore because Rumpus isn't listening. He declared, I'm going to summarise, please don't interrupt me, G+. He just declared, through Paul, whilst being asked a question, that it's real talking about space-time. It's real talking about space-time. I stopped him and told him to stop religious fundy muting Paul with his declaration that space-time is real over and over again, because it's just chanting religious rhetoric. Then I asked him to back that which he'd interrupted Paul. It was so important to make sure the audience knows that it's real. But then when I asked him to actually qualify it as being physical and real, he cannot show it me. So he draws false equivalents over and over again with electricity and whether or not he can show me that. No, mate. I'm asking you to show me something you've declared as real, which is space-time, and you can't. Pseudo-Ramonian for space. Fake, sham, not real, can't be shown, not physical, not actual, conceptual. Rumpus is a liar when he declares over and over again, it's real because it's not real. He's lying to you and has to obfuscate and talk through me while I point this out. Now, he feels it's perfectly acceptable to talk through Paul with declarations of realness being attributable to space-time. It isn't, because as soon as I challenge him on that, what he's chanting through Paul's demolition of his religious belief of pseudo-space-time, he can't show it to be real. He'll chant it through someone else to mute them, though, but he can't back his bullshit. It is not real. It is conceptual. Space-time isn't real. Rumpus has chanted it to my audience so that they think this conceptual medium, reified in their globe religion, is real when it isn't. So no, Rumpus, you're just wrong. You fundy liar. Come here to deceive my audience, telling them that something's real through my other guests, and then not actually showing it to be real? Telling me you can't show me electricity fields. Well, no, you can't show me space-time as a medium. You can't show me it as a fabric. You can't show that it's real, like you were declaring through Paul. Now that we've got that out of the way, you fundy zealot with your globe belief that isn't real and can't be shown, we'll let Paul make his point. Now I've had my time to thunder through your obfuscation of the truth. We're dealing in truth here. Truth about conceptual mediums is they are not real. Rumpus is here to lie, because he's a globe believer with a religion, and he needs to lie to anybody who's got an audience that space-time, a concept, is real. Now, hopefully Paul hasn't been filibustered out of his point completely. Feel free to carry on, Paul. Sorry to make such a disturbance off the back of your interruption with a declaration that space-time is real by Rumpus. It isn't. I just wanted to clarify that for my audience, because he's a liar.
Well, it's actually funny that he used a real thing to try to illustrate a conceptual thing. You know what I mean? So, but how does something real, like me going down in a hole, take a little longer because it's not covered over, something real to something that still doesn't explain how a conceptual concept of mathematics do anything. Math cannot do anything. Mathematical concepts can't do anything. But it seems like this mathematical construct can speed up and slow down events. But I still don't understand. I still don't get it. I mean, why does it take so long to express a concept? It should be pretty simple. Most concepts and most things that can be explained are explained very simply.
Yeah, he said it's very, very, very complicated. Not just complicated, complete bullshit. He's going to reify something that's not physical. That would be bending space into something physical. It's not. It's not a fabric. It's conceptual, it's mathematical, and you're absolutely right. Mathematics is abstractions. Physics deals with reality. It's dealing with the physical. That's physics. Mathematical abstractions and musings from people like Einstein about pseudo space-time, they're not real, and they're not going to cause anything to do anything ever. In the same way the conceptual bending of space-time won't cause a force, because it's conceptual, and it won't bend any fabric that, it's real, it's real. No, it's not real. But you chanting that shit through my other guests' declarations of actual fact about mathematical abstractions aren't causing things, that'll get obfuscated by liars like Rumpus. Declarations of it's real, it's real. No, it's conceptual. You're a liar, Rumpus. Flat out liar. Lying to me, lying to my audience, lying through Paul's truth. You're all being taken in by liars. Not us, flat earthers, you globeheads.
That was a great question, though.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Brian. I've been telling a lot of people about you recently, Brian. Explaining what you...
Thank you, Nathan.
Well, when you told us about the checkpoints and how the Irish are dealing with it generally, from your perception, of course, and seeing a few things about the Irish going to courts about the temporary government's actions unjustified in their opinion. That's now on the court table, so to speak. And you think, shout out to the Irish. They know how to do this stuff, man. Admittedly, as a direct result, you've got more controls in place than we have in, at least in my neck of the woods. I can only go by what I see. But that's for a reason, right? You guys are savvy. You know what you're doing. You know what you want. You know what's right and wrong. You want to get back to normal, get down the pub, right?
Yeah, people just aren't taking it serious. It's like because it's not shown itself to be serious, so people aren't taking it serious. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of a thing. It's like people will try to take it serious. They'll try and pretend up to a point, but they just can't. Just can't do it. You can see it happening. People are hanging out together. I just saw last week 15 or 20 people hanging out, and they weren't all related, and even some of them are foreign from different places. Some of them look Spanish, and all hanging out in one place randomly out at the coast in a public area. So people are just bit by bit just like they'll go along with it up to a point, but like we don't really take it all that serious because it's not. That's the truth. The core thing I don't know about because I haven't been following it. I'll be honest, I don't know about that part. But I totally take it that that's true because you wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't. But no, just not taking it all serious. But if you start going against it too hard, then you will bring a big backlash upon yourself. You just have to kind of gradually kind of chip away at it, and before you know, it'll be nothing. That's it, isn't it? Freedom's important.
Absolutely. As is sunshine.
Hey, I was going to answer the question that Paul was asking Rumpus there, so people can actually get an answer for it, because Rumpus didn't answer that question.
Now I've kicked him out.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. I was going to answer the question that Rumpus didn't answer.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because Rumpus didn't answer. I don't know. Maybe he was hiding it, or maybe he didn't know. The reason that we're supposed to move faster as we change our altitude in accordance with Einstein's theory of general relativity is that we're getting closer to the speed of light. So we're moving faster because we're getting closer to the speed of light. That's one of the analogies I read about it was if you were on a very high tower and you held a ball above that high tower for 3 seconds and then dropped it, it would have moved further in time for that 3 seconds it was held than for the time it took it to fall. As in, it was slowing down in time as it was falling because it was getting further away from the speed of light. But we all know the speed of light is based on Kepler's dodgy Earth analemma nonsense. That's based on an amalgamation of an analemma from well before him that had nothing to do with the globe and the Copernican model. The speed of light is all based on, it's all nonsense. The whole thing is nonsense. So there is no space-time because it's all based on the speed of light, which is a heap of nonsense.
Well, but even in that, I mean, if you're saying speed, moving close to the speed of light causes events to speed up and slow down, it still doesn't make sense. That doesn't explain anything. You're just saying that, I'm moving faster at the speed of light, but how does that increase and slow down events and events? It still doesn't explain anything.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making this live show possible. If you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley Premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. As I say, if you're watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed. I think I did actually miss a few super chats, so I might actually go back in and let's just see if I did. I think I did. Yes, indeed I did. So, Rakia Life. Crap, Paul cost me the money. Paul is ace also. We still didn't make the list. Thank you very much indeed to Rakia Life for the super chat. Also, NZ, who simply gives me money. So thank you very much indeed to NZ for smashing the super chat. And then joining and a third hat trick of super chats from Joshua Doyle. So thank you very much indeed to Joshua Doyle also for smashing the super chat. I'm just scrolling up to see if I can find it to read it out before we run out of time. Will he find it? No, he won't. Too far up in the chat. There we go. I know you don't block for cash, but will you mute Larry Lennon Thorley or however you say his name, for 5 minutes. He's being a total fundy and needs a little wrench work, in my honest opinion. I haven't been watching the chat that closely, I'm afraid, Joshua Deal, but thank you very much for paying me for super chats. If he's out of line, he'd get timed out. I haven't been watching to know if he is or isn't. But once again, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discords and G Plus panels for making this live show possible. Stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!